You always know when something inside you shatters. It's not just pain, it's not just memory. It's like an invisible thread is pulled too tightly. And when that thread snaps, something in you changes forever. What they did to you wasn't just a mistake. It was a silent cut that slipped in without asking for permission. It wasn't just physical, it wasn't just in words, and it was in your soul. And you felt it, you realized it. And even if you tried to silence it, even if you tried to swallow it down, it didn't stop breathing inside you. Maybe no one around you noticed. Maybe it seemed like you moved on, but inside the wound never stopped throbbing, and now it demands a voice. Now it demands the truth. Have you ever noticed how the truth doesn't wait to be invited? It barges in, sometimes quietly, sometimes with violence. It shakes the internal walls. It crumbles everything that was built on lies. And you are about to experience exactly that. Because when the truth arrives, it's not here to comfort, it's here to expose. It's here to unveil what was hidden. It's here to shatter what seemed unbreakable. They hurt you once, but the truth will break everything. And within that break, you will find something you never expected. You'll realize that what you carried wasn't weakness. It was compressed strength, it was suffocated silence. It was a trapped scream waiting for the right moment. And that moment, one is now. You always knew something was wrong. It wasn't just an impression. It was a physical sensation, palpable in your body, like pressure in your chest or a weight in your stomach. It was as if the air changed around you when they entered. And even without words, you sensed it. There was something about their presence that wasn't safe. But you stayed. You believed. You tried to justify every silence, every cold gesture, every disguised absence. Because deep down, you were afraid of the truth. And who wouldn't be? The truth is cruel when it comes too soon. The truth is devastating when it explodes over a heart that isn't prepared. That's why you protected yourself. You built internal walls. You learned to smile when you wanted to cry. You learned to be silent when you wanted to scream. And for a while, it worked. But lies never last forever. They can even disguise themselves as routine. They can hide in small gestures. They can mask themselves as affection. But the truth won't be silenced. It pushes from within until the body can't take it anymore. And now you are exactly at that point. Between silence and revelation. Between fear and liberation. Between the weight of carrying and the lightness of letting go. They hurt you once, but the truth will hurt back. Not because you need to take revenge, but because the truth doesn't ask for permission. It breaks, it tears away, it exposes, and no one comes out unscathed when it arrives. You will realize that what was done against you does not define who you are. You are not the pain. You are not the silence. You are not his mistake. You are the perception that came afterward. It's the clarity that was born from the dark. It's the strength that emerged from the most fragile point. And here's a detail you may not have noticed. What he broke in you was exactly what was ready to be reborn. Nothing more, nothing less than what was already destined to bloom into a deeper version. How many times have you questioned yourself in silence? How many nights did you lie down and think, am I the problem? How many times did you believe his narrative even though you felt something didn't fit? This is the invisible violence. It's not just the act itself. It's the prolonged effect that echoes inside you like a slow poison. But now something changes. Because the moment comes when you can no longer deny it. The moment when perception becomes so clear, so obvious, so intense, that you can no longer close your eyes. It's as if life is screaming within you. Look, face it head on. Own what's in front of you. And when that happens, you can't go back. You can't unsee what's already been seen. You can't silence what's already been revealed. You can't undo what's already been broken. This is where your silent revolution begins. It's not about revenge. It's not about proving anything. It's about freeing yourself. It's about stopping the burden of guilt that was never yours. And maybe, as you read these words, you'll feel a mix of pain and relief. Pain because it confirms what you already knew but tried to deny. Relief because finally someone is putting into words what you never dared to say out loud. If this resonates with you, comment, I needed to hear this. Because this is the moment to admit to yourself. You recognized it. And once you've realized it, there's no turning back. Now listen quietly. Everything that was done to you will be transformed into strength. Everything they tried to hide will be exposed by the truth. Everything they tried to silence will be shouted in silence by your very existence. He hurt you once, but the truth The truth has already started to break everything apart, and within that breaking, you will discover who you really are. You didn't just see the pain, you noticed the silences, the glances that turned away, the gestures that contradicted pretty words, and you noticed something even deeper, the absence of truth. The absence is an invisible weight. You can't touch it, but it occupies everything. It's like entering an apparently empty room, but feeling the air is thick, heavy, suffocating. That's what you lived alongside him. He would say things but never show them. He promised, but never followed through. He got close but never truly let go. And you realized it. Even when you tried to deny it, even when you tried to convince yourself it was just your imagination, deep down, you knew. And what hurts the most isn't the lie. It's the awareness that you saw. You recognized it. And still, you stayed. That's why the truth doesn't just expose the other. The truth also exposes you. It shows how much you endured to avoid losing. It shows how much you silenced to avoid being abandoned. It shows how much you believed to avoid facing the fall. And now, that fall can no longer be postponed. You are already in it. And perhaps this is the greatest hidden gift within the pain. The fall is not the end. It is a beginning, it is an opening. It is the breaking down of walls that kept you imprisoned. You have been hurt, but now you are free. Being free doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. Being free means that even while it hurts, you no longer have to carry chains that were never yours. Being free means that for the first time, you can breathe without the fear of disappointing anyone, without the fear of being who you truly are. The truth did not come to destroy you. It came to destroy the illusion. And that is painful, because you also loved the illusion. It was comfortable, cozy, it felt safe, but it wasn't. And now that everything is exposed, you can't go back. You can only move forward. Moving forward is not forgetting. It is not erasing the memory. It is not pretending it didn't happen. Moving forward is looking at what happened without allowing it to define what is to come. You realize that now. You can already feel it. There is no turning back. And perhaps that is scary, but it is also liberating. It hurt once, but the truth will shatter everything that remains of the illusion. And when the pieces scatter, you will understand. It was necessary to break in order for you to find yourself whole. Have you noticed how the body holds memories? A touch can bring back years of silence. A scent can ignite memories you thought were buried, and suddenly the scene returns as if it were present, not to torment you, but to remind you that there is still something to be seen, something to be understood. That is the function of pain. It is not punishment. It is revelation. It points to where there is still a wound, where there is still a knot, where there is still unrelieved weight. And now, at this very moment, your perception has expanded. You are no longer the same person who was hurt. You are no longer the same person who believed in the lie. You are now someone who has seen. And once you see, you can never be deceived in the same way again. You might ask, but why did I have to go through this? And the answer doesn't come as justification. It's not because you deserved it. It's not because you were wrong. It's not because there was something wrong with you. The answer comes in the form of awakening. You needed to realize, and only pain had enough strength to open the eyes that blind love insisted on closing. It's not fair, I know, but it's real. And now that you've realized, you can't hide anymore. Now life will demand a different stance from you. It will require courage. It will demand that you take a stand, that you break the silent pacts you kept with the lie. That's scary, isn't it? Because part of you would still like to return to the comfortable illusion. But take a good look. That illusion was never home. It was a prison. You just didn't see it. Now you see, and that changes everything. You might still feel anger. You might still want to scream. You might still cry when you remember, and that's okay. Healing isn't instantaneous. The truth doesn't just disappear all at once. It just turns on the light. And when the light comes on, you see the mess that was hidden in the dark. You see the scattered remnants. You see the accumulated dirt. You see the scars that you didn't want to acknowledge before. And yes, that hurts. But it's the beginning of the cleansing. It's the beginning of the rebuilding. You don't need to rush. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. The process is solely yours. It's intimate, it's profound, and every tear, every silence, every sleepless night is a part of it. If you have ever felt this, that shock of finally seeing what had been right in front of you all along, write in the comments, "I've been through this." Because there is immense power in acknowledging your own journey. Do you see? Everything that seemed to be the end is, in fact, the door, and what he tried to erase in you has never stopped existing. Your light was only hidden behind the walls that are now crumbling. And when everything falls, when the dust settles, you will find yourself facing something that once seemed impossible. You free. You can no longer live in the same internal space as before. Something in you has already broken, and no matter how hard you try to rebuild the illusion, it can't hold up. You realize this every time you close your eyes. You perceive it in the silence, in the memories, in the little situations that reveal the falsehood you once accepted without question. This is the price of awareness. It never returns what it has taken. It doesn't allow for a return. It only paves the way forward, even when you don't feel ready to walk. And here's a detail that hurts but also frees. You didn't need him to be whole. You never did. But you believed you did. And that belief was the strongest prison. He hurt you because he knew you believed. He exploited the space you offered. And what was once trust became vulnerability, handed to the wrong hands. But now everything has changed. The wound has become a portal. The pain has turned into revelation. The perception has transformed into a silent weapon. You are no longer the person who entered that relationship. You are no longer the person who believed in empty promises. You are now someone who looks back and sees, I realized, I saw, I awakened. This awakening is uncomfortable. It demands courage from you to let go of ties that seemed eternal. It requires a goodbye that isn't just for him, but for the version of you that believed blindly. And this is where the truth breaks everything. Not just what he built out of lies, but what you sustained out of fear. The truth doesn't negotiate. It comes, opens, exposes, illuminates. It reveals what has always been there, only you didn't want to see. And when this happens, the pain is inevitable. But within the pain lies hidden gold. There is latent strength, there is clarity. You might even feel like you've lost something immense. But deep down, you've gained something priceless. The freedom to no longer deceive yourself. Look inside now. Remember all the times you stayed silent to avoid conflict. Remember the times you swallowed your tears because you didn't want to bother anyone. Remember the moments you smiled to hide the weight you were carrying. Each of those silences was a brick in your prison. Every time you swallowed your pain was another knot tightening around your throat. And still, you endured. You believed that enduring was love, but it wasn't. It was self-neglect. And you realized this late, but you did realize, and now you can no longer pretend you can't go back to abandoning yourself. This is the true breaking point. It's not the end of the relationship. It's the breaking of the habit of self-neglect. It's the break from the cycle of silence. It's the dismantling of the lie you told yourself just to avoid losing someone. Now you see. Now you know. And this awareness will guide every step from here on out. He hurt you once. But you won't allow that to happen again, because now you are awake. You've already noticed the signs, you recognize the gestures, the glances, the empty words. You won't fall into that same trap again. And this makes people uncomfortable. It bothers those who wanted to keep you confined. It disturbs those who benefited from your silence. It unsettles those who wanted you small, quiet, and submissive. Your awareness is unsettling because it represents freedom, and freedom scares those who thrive on control. So prepare yourself. When you begin to liberate yourself, the world around you reacts. It may try to come back, it may attempt to manipulate you again, it might approach with sweet words, but you are no longer the same. You no longer believe as you once did. You've realized too much, and once awareness takes root, no one can tear it from you. They may try to convince you otherwise, but inside, you already have an unwavering certainty. And that certainty is the foundation of your new life. You might still cry some nights. You might miss moments that weren't even real, but you believed they were. You might long for the illusion because the illusion had its comforts too. And that's okay. It's part of the process. But remember, nostalgia is not a reason to go back. Nostalgia is just the heart recalling what it dreamed. But now you know the difference between a dream and a lie. And that difference will save you. If this resonates with you, comment, "It makes sense." Because when you speak it out loud, you commit to the truth that already resides within you. Now listen, you are not alone. The pain you carry has been felt by many. This awakening you are experiencing has been lived by others. And each person who went through this left traces of strength for you to follow as well. It's not the end, it's the beginning. It's not ruin, it's the foundation of something new. You may not see it yet, but you are building a new path. And on that path, there is no room for chains, there is no room for forced silences, there is no room for illusions. There is only room for the truth. And even if it hurts, even if it burns, even if it knocks you down, the truth is the only thing that sets you free, and it is already setting you free. This truth has paved the way. If you want to dive deeper, click on the next video and continue with me.